to allow you to enjoy a little bit of that smooth jazz. You know, that's what we're all about: jazz, R&B, soul, funk, you name it. That is what we bring you. And just to usher you into the final freshly pressed of this week, it's a Friday morning, yes, 24th day of October 2025. It is 32 minutes past 7 a.m. My name is Ayokunmi Kekiriakun. Welcome into another ride into the stories that are making the headlines in the papers across Nigeria. We get analysis as well. We also get your thoughts and contributions, which mean so very much. So please do keep up with us on WhatsApp. Keep up with us on YouTube as well. WhatsApp, you can find us 0911 YouTube, we're at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. So tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend at 7:30 on weekdays. This is where they need to be. All right. Like I said, analysis is to come. And I have two very fine gentlemen ready to dive into the stories in the persons of Joseph Obari and AB Bozimo. AB, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Joseph. And good morning to all of the wonderful listeners out there. We'll explore the news landscape this morning together. I look forward to hearing from our wise listeners.
Oh, yes, indeed. Joseph, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, B. Good morning to our listeners. It's nice to be here again to rub minds. Your contributions are always appreciated. Thank you.
Oh, they're definitely appreciated. And we will appreciate them a whole lot more today with the stories that we have lined up here. AB, let us begin. Let us begin the journey this morning talking about housing. The Guardian is where we're taking this from. It says the federal government, through the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, has approved uniform sale prices for various housing units under its Renewed Hope Estate program across all states of the Federation. The housing units, which comprise 1, 2, and 3-bedroom semi-detached bungalows, are part of the ministry's efforts to make home ownership more accessible and equitable for Nigerians. Is this a step in the right direction?
First of all, the idea of the government providing some level of housing support is a good one. Everyone knows and is complaining about the rates of rent, renewal and all that. So it's more or less like competition. They have about 3 types. They have 1, 2, and 3-bedroom semi-detached units. And the plan is to provide them in the various states of the nation at equivalent prices all over the country. Now, there's one side of me that says, in reality, that is already a challenge because the relative cost of things in the various parts of the country is not the same. When you try to create this fiat, you are almost artificially doing it. What I mean is this: the price for some of the units in a place like Lagos will be considered an absolute dream and it will be snapped up before the forms when the forms are hot off the press. But for those same figures in some other parts of the country, they will be considered more expensive or too expensive because the incomes there are different. That said, one cannot but say this is a good initiative. What happens is that they're also asking for different forms of payment: outright payments, mortgages, rent to own, and payment in installments, all to say, let there be some housing provided by, in this case, the federal government. I argue that state governments and even local governments should also get in on the game to assist the people in these various localities. Here's the question, though. I'm curious. We've had many other housing programs, and almost universally, they have failed. Part of the reasons why is that, first of all, they locate these houses where nobody is and nobody wants to go. You have the houses in places where transportation links are not well established. And last of all, you have houses that are cheek to jowl with literally zero social amenities. Housing is one component of creating community. I want to believe that these homes are properly located, positioned, and designed in such a way as to dignify their owners and residents in self-sustainable communities. You don't just want to go and throw people literally in what's that thing we have in Nigeria, what's that garden or the dark forest, and then say they should come and buy houses there. Yes, you will sell, but will people want to live there? There's nothing that says that housing and desirability must be divergent. So, A, good initiative. Two, make sure that the houses are supported by decent amenities and are designed in a decent way. I see these layouts that look horrible. They're just like slums, grid iron layout, no space between the houses for ventilation and lighting, and frankly, just prisons without formal borders. Let's avoid that kind of solution.
I strongly agree with that one. I mean, if you look at the way houses are built these days, especially here in Lagos, I always joke that someone in building A can shake the hand of someone in building B because they're so close, so very close to each other, and there is never any
completely
greenery.
Inappropriate.
There is never any greenery anymore, AB.
There's never greenery. There are no sidewalks for people to walk around and stay fit. There is, I mean, you want to create a community, but I must not always know what TV program you are watching in my neighbor's house. I don't need that. That's too much information.
TMI, as they say. Oh my goodness, I can see Joseph shaking his head because I believe he understands exactly what is going on.
I mean, it's so real. I mean, sometimes I'm shocked when I see them commission housing projects by government and there is no patch of lawn anywhere.
Honestly,
building, patch of lawn, not to talk about trees. How do you do that? How do you commission a housing estate designed by government without landscaping?
Utterly disgusting. Utterly disgusting. But I haven't seen these ones yet. I'm hoping that they have avoided this time. We have an architect as housing minister. Yes, I'm calling us out. I hope that we have moved away from those gross misnomers of affordable housing. Affordable does not mean nasty, decent, and horrible. Affordable just means you can pay for it.
Also calling out developers because y'all are very complicit in this particular issue. Yes, looking at
very
bombastic.
True. And
bombastic
so our town, just one last word, our town planning authorities should impose the standards and refuse to accept anything that is substandard. That's really the deal.
All right, let's keep the ball rolling here. We're going to stay in the Guardian, Joseph. Let's talk about the $1 trillion economy. The National Economic Council, the NEC, during its 153rd meeting yesterday at the Presidential Villa in Abuja, approved a comprehensive roadmap towards achieving a $1 trillion economy by 2030. The meeting, which was the sixth in 2025, was attended by President Bola Tinubu, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, Senate Leader Okoyemi Bamidele, Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps, that's Benjamin Kalu, and Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, and many state governors as well. This particular session was chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima. It also approved the expansion of its ad hoc committee on crude oil theft prevention and control to include oversight of Nigeria's solid minerals sector. We'll talk about that on another trajectory, but let's focus on the $1 trillion economy, Joseph. It seems like this government is very, very serious about making this happen. But realistically, looking where we are right now and 2030 being less than 5 years away, can we pull this off?
It's an exciting story because it just promises that if we can follow through on the things we've planned, we can walk this economy. This economy is long overdue to be a 1 trillion or 1 billion or whatever category of economy it should be, because Nigeria has got the resources and the environment is rich and the investors know of this. What has been missing all along is the handshake between the government policies that create the enable environment for investors to come in. And creating that environment, when you talk about enabling environment, you're talking about the ease of doing business. I shouldn't have to deal with multiple agencies hopping from one agency to the other. If you want to pass a simple product you have manufactured, you have to go to SON, Standard Organization of Nigeria. You have to go to NAFDAC. You have to go to this, and you're going to each one of them with their different conditions. There should be one-stop shop for every of such kind of approvals, where there are representatives of all the relevant agencies applying the rules and the regulation. So if I need NAFDAC approval, it shouldn't take me over 1 year to get simply NAFDAC to say, okay, this product I'm bringing into Nigerian market is certified to be safe for people. So I'll go to SON and I'm face similar hurdles for another 2 years or so before. So no business wants to do that. Then of course, when you're talking about also the banking sector, what happened in the banking sector, would I be able to repatriate my profit? Yeah, at the end of the day, we saw what happened.
Very big question.
Just before this administration came in, people who had foreign currencies couldn't get them out of the country. Those are the kind of things we're talking about. So it's not just enough to say, oh, we want $1 trillion economy, but are you walking the talk? Are you really providing the environment that enables people to feel that Nigeria is attractive enough to do business? We are talking about security. Insecurity is a major problem for us. So until we'll deal with that, I mean, a foreigner who wants to come to invest in Nigeria would think about his safety. As it is today, there are only few cities where foreigners feel safe. In Abuja, yeah, you feel relatively safe. In Lagos, yeah, you feel relatively. Where you are going to cite businesses or industries that will bring you money, they are not in the city centers. So you must travel to those places. And travel by road it's almost like a no-no for any foreigner, because you don't know when they can pick you up.
Any foreigner or even Nigerians
don't travel by road. And let's not talk about just foreigners. There are Nigerians who are enterprising, who want to do businesses. They are choked. There are diasporans, Nigerians who are abroad who want to do business. I saw a video of a diasporan who they bought property in Abuja. They started investment, big investment, and the minister went and bulldozed the place down, and they were crying. I mean, this is a group of foreign. They were able to pull their colleagues in the US to come to invest in their country with joy, and they were frustrated. Just demolished everything they have done without, what listen to them at least. Okay, what happened? How did you get allocated this? Was it wrong or whatever? And be humane how you relate to such kind of things, and especially consider where they're coming from and what it is. So it's a problem. Those other nitty-gritties are the things that really work. Because if at the end of the day, these things are not, that handshake doesn't happen, there is no how you're going. You can sing from now till high heaven. Nobody finds the place attractive. In the oil industry as well, if you cannot produce crude oil and ensure that you can get it to terminal to export, what are you doing as an investor in the oil business? Yeah, I agree. Today there's a lot of improvement, but crude oil theft still continues. It still continues today. It has just declined, but it is not stopped. So every investor wants security of his capital and the guarantee that he can make profit.
Most definitely.
No, there is no incentive. What are you doing business for? What do you want to come and do business for? So it's exciting to say all of this, but let us walk the talk. It's not just a matter of, oh yeah, we are going to do this, but I feel excited. There are promises. I see a lot of swelling of different accounts. The SS crude account is richer. The stabilization account is richer. The natural resource account is richer. And all these are promising. But let's translate this into actions. Government agencies need to buy into the government's philosophy. It's just like what happens in any organization. If you're running a company, you're running a business, and the different departments have not understand your business objective, then they can't translate it.
True.
How would they
All right.
relate to customers? How should they relate with customers? All those things will show in the way they treat people, their stakeholders.
All
So
right, sir.
Nigeria, our relationship with our stakeholders are always questionable.
Mm.
If you walk into a ministry on, for example, to get something done for you to do a business, and if the frustration you meet, when you can't meet the civil servant on duty, then when you meet him, he's giving you unnecessary trouble and so on and so forth. How is that exciting? That's the point.
Very valid points made there. A lot to be done. I mean, we're talking a big talk. Let us walk the walk as well to get us where it is that we need to do. All right, Ibi. Now let's talk about another part of that particular session. And I already alluded to it. You know, the Committee on Crude Oil Theft Prevention and Control, and so on and so forth. We're stepping into the punch now. That particular session of the National Economic Council expanded the mandate of its ad hoc committee on crude oil theft prevention and control to also cover illegal mining. Now, this is just as the council raised the alarm that the nation's solid minerals, including gold, are being mined and stolen. Is this a classic case of whenever someone wakes up, that's their own morning, AB?
You have that part of it, but honestly, what are the security forces doing? We keep having these ad hoc committees, ad hoc committees. Do they take the place of the official, properly constituted security forces? Are they a mere enhancement? To what extent are they now supposed to do the work or replace the function of those who should be tasked with securing the country? How come we are saying we are losing this and losing that physical? I mean, guy, I can enter your studio and take a flash drive, but solid minerals are not what you put in your pocket and walk. They
Mm.
involve trucks, they involve roads, they involve a whole lot. How are you telling me that we are losing this much gold and lithium and columbite and whatever else? Through what routes? So, yes, we do need to not curb it, but stop it entirely, both the crude oil theft and solid minerals, because when these things are properly harnessed, indeed, there's more revenue and perhaps even more opportunity to convert some of those things for our own use. I don't want us to remain permanently an extractive country where people come, take, and take out. Why are we not making lithium batteries in Nigeria? You will say, I would say no light. Fine. But we should start by asking the question and then move towards creating the context where we can make lithium batteries. We're the continent of sunshine. Why should solar panels not be made all around Nigeria? I mean, these are just questions, you could say conceptual, but it is from finding out answers to those questions that we can indeed approach that billion naira, $1 billion economy. It is
Trillion,
when we are
trillion dollar.
trillion,
Yeah.
it's when we are making things. You see, another story we have today is about employment. We don't have an employment problem. We have a management problem. We have so many problems in Nigeria and so many competent people that if we could manage to connect the competence to the challenge, we would have people who have too much to do. So on this particular story, we have committees, ad hoc and otherwise. We're now expanding the mandate of oil theft. How are you going to have the same people who are dealing with oil theft, which is primarily in certain parts of the country, doing the work in the other part of the country, have solid minerals? And this too, finally, is a reminder that every part of Nigeria has value to add to the country. It's not only about the South or wherever else. And I think at the heart of it is the core of resource control. Trust me, if the residents and citizens of those states were direct beneficiaries of those things, you can't steal it out of under their feet. Right now, in many cases, they feel like they are spectators, so they don't benefit directly, and so they don't feel that they have a stake in making sure that those resources are properly harnessed for their own good. That is the heart of it. Resource control. If you control your resources, guy, that flash drive I'm trying to take from the studio, you won't let me take it out.
Yeah, but let me just add something. The truth simply is that when it comes to solid mineral, there is heavy connivance by interested parties, if some of them in government, to ensure that who are enriching themselves from this fraudulent theft or the theft of our resources. So that's a major concern. And because some of the things that are happening, it's not as if we didn't know that they're happening, but the will to deal with them hasn't been there because there are entrenched interests. Some government officials are involved in the theft of our resources. And it's because it's happening in other parts of the country. We've always treated solid minerals as if a different kind of resource from the crude oil.
Exactly. Exactly.
So when we bring those kind of parochial approach to dealing with things like this, then it's unfortunate. So some people feel they can just dig gold under their ground because it's easy, it's just they can dig. Then they take it and go home. They dig whatever they can get, even diamonds and whatever, and take home. So, but crude oil, of course, you need technology to be able to access it and all that. So yeah, you find the people justify it. So, okay, if you have refined it, we can steal it. If you have brought it from the ground, we can steal it because it's other people are digging gold somewhere else and taking them home. So if we approach natural issues in this manner, with this kind of parochial view, then we are not solving any problem.
And we all know that Nigeria is so rich in solid minerals. Look at what is going on in Zamfara State. I mean, make of that what you will. Situation in the country at the moment. Let me take a message here from Ajayi Oloninuwa. He's Magudu Jerry Sherry. He says, good morning, Ayokunmi and Mrs. Obari and Bozimo as well. I wonder how the federal government will implement this policy of selling housing units at the same price across the country. In the first place, the federal government has no business building houses except for their employees in the armed forces, police, and other specialized agencies. Housing units are better provided by local and maybe state governments as it's done in well-organized countries. A cursory visit to any of the federal government housing estates will show their deplorable conditions due to lack of maintenance. I can actually agree with that part. The lack of maintenance, and it cuts across board. We have such a horrible maintenance culture in this country. It's galling when you think about it. Anyways, let's step into the Daily Post, Joseph, and let's talk about INEC, among other things here. Now, political observers and stakeholders have aired their views on the failure of the Independent National Electoral Commission to control the activities of political parties in the country. Now, there is the belief that laws and regulations are hardly followed, with institutions in the country showing weakness or turning the other way when they are to enforce the laws. Now, in a recent roundtable organized by the Electoral Umpire to discuss ways and possible solutions to these challenges, especially that of premature election campaigns in the country, it became clearer to the electorate that INEC has limited powers in handling some of these issues. I don't know what's going on in Abuja and in Port Harcourt, but I've been seeing a couple of campaign-ish sort of billboards and so on and so forth right here in Lagos. And we're not in campaign season, are we? I mean, governance should be at the forefront, but hey, here we are. Joseph.
Who is we? Who is we, Ayo? You may not be. Joseph, take it away.
See, Ayo, the truth simply is that INEC is just sitting on its hands because the excuse that the former chairman of INEC gave at that occasion was that, oh, the section 94, which prescribes stipulates that you shouldn't start premature campaign, did not give sanctions. It only gave sanctions for those who may breach the law 24 hours before the election. But what happens 150 days before 150 days is not a sanction, is not it's enough sanction to strip your billboard. At least you lose costs. The money you spend in erecting that billboard, you lose it. So if you're taking down billboards that are not meant to be and really tearing up all those posters or whatever, I don't care if you have to mobilize people to do, but do something. Don't tell me that sanction is only when you impose fines. And that's what I have with that excuse that INEC is giving. Okay, we'll talk about advertising regulatory agency that is supposed to ensure that this kind of things, because they monitor what kind of advert you're going to put out. Why were they not able to say this advert is not it's not in accordance with the law, so we can't approve it. So, but because it is in favor of the government in power, everybody is playing deaf and dumb. And then they come here and they complain to me to do what? The people who wrote the Electoral Act created a lacuna, deliberately left it loose so that they can exploit it. They are the same politicians, and that's the issue we've got. Now we are talking about reform of reform of the Electoral Act, and nobody is talking about rewriting that very section that's troublesome. Those are the issues which you point. So INEC should be the one championing these things and say, give me the power to do this or do that. If they want sanction, they should ask for it. They should ask that the act should be amended in such a way that empowers them to give sanctions and stiff sanctions for that matter and enforce these things. And then, of course, we know that even if INEC recommends anything, it is up to our politicians. These people we have in the National Assembly to decide what happens. And it's as it is now, where everybody is kowtowing to the president's wishes, everybody is defecting to his party. How do you expect that anybody will want to do anything that hurts in quote, hurts the interest of the president? So people just watch the body language. Okay, the billboards, when people start complaining about the appearance of billboards, the president comes out and says, oh, we didn't authorize them. You did, but you should say, you should categorically say that this is against the law. And that even if you don't sanction, you didn't, but because it fulfills their need, it satisfies their own interest, they say, oh, we didn't do it, or it are third parties, and so on. So you find that the president itself is guilty of disrespect to the rule of law, because what they should do is to say those parties are affiliated to them. They are groups that are championing the interest of the president. Let the presidency be bold enough to say this is against the law. I'm asking all parties who are doing campaign, we appreciate their interest in supporting us, but please let us obey the law. It's not just enough to come and say we didn't do it, or we didn't send these people to do any work for us, or they are on their own, whatever they are doing, they are not part of us. But because it serves your interest, you keep quiet. And that is the issue.
A billboard is an economic element. It gives revenue to the owner, and there are fees and dues that are paid to the locality where it's at. Cut off the oxygen. As you said, we have the advertising practitioners, group. If a billboard is put up without, first of all, where are the advertising practitioners who are supposed to have sanctioned that thing? They are liable. Then when you put it up, maybe despite or in defiance of them, that billboard should come down. That is starving them of oxygen. If it happens once, it won't happen twice.
If it happens once, it definitely would not happen twice. All right, let's we need to wrap it up this morning. This is a message from Joseph Mania here. He's in Silver Estate in Ejibo, and he says, how long will we continue to deceive ourselves? So customs can clearly see rice, poultry smugglers, and police can easily stop vehicles with complete documents, but find it very difficult to apprehend those stealing resources using vehicles to move around and across the borders. The National Assembly just wants attention for something that they know that there won't be any punishment for the criminal activities. May God help us. May God help us indeed. This is from Chidize, who says, it's a good idea to initiate to begin to manufacture in Nigeria. However, the challenge here is one man lobbies the license to produce, then he monopolizes the markets, creates artificial scarcity, and raises the prices off the roof for the masses. We all see what's happening with other dairy products in the country. Interesting take there from you, Chiduze. All right, let me see if there's a comment or two here on YouTube. Where are you? Okay. All right, I think we are actually good to go. Well, it's a Feel Good Friday morning, and we need to bring things home on the show. AB, just give us your parting shots as we end Freshly Pressed for the final time this week.
Thank you, Ayo. Thank you, Joseph. And thank you to the wonderful listeners who tuned in. I just think we can do better. I am encouraged by some of the aspirations because somebody said we will put a man on the moon. He didn't even live to see it. The president has said he wants to make $1 trillion economy. Let's see how far we can push this. It's a potentially galvanizing force, but we must cut out greed of the political class at all levels, federal, state, and local. There is enough to go around in this country, truly.
There's enough to definitely go around in this country. Joseph.
Yeah, I mean, Nigeria is rich. We shouldn't be poor. Nobody in Nigeria is supposed to be poor. No, ideally. But we, just like Abi has said, we've got an elite class that simply doesn't care for this country. They're not patriotic. And until we have patriotic citizens across board, because nothing is done that's not in interest of Nigeria that does not involve Nigerians. So all of us have to have feel that we have a stake in this country. And it is the leadership that makes people feel that they have a stake in the country. So we let us keep talking and still hoping that people are listening and that there will be change. On that note, I want to wish everybody a wonderful weekend. Gentlemen and listeners, I wish you a very wonderful weekend.
And a very wonderful weekend to you as well, Joseph, and to you, Abi. Thank you so very much for always joining me on the show. Always a pleasure having you and getting your very, very invaluable thoughts. And thank you to you all out there for sharing your messages and, of course, for keeping up with us on the show. It's been a pleasure having you and reading your messages as well. The Smooth Breakfast is going to kick on, on a Friday at 8:15. It's all about sports as we take a walk into the locker room. My name is Ayokunmi. Don't go anywhere.